Are we okay? We got to fucking... We've got to do the fucking shit that we for fucking drug abuse. No! Are you listening?
I could make an entire video, and I almost did, on I am a predator. But what I want to talk about is this. I once counseled a man, not officially, but someone who was struggling with something they did in their past. They are really lucky this woman did not press charges. I don't know why she didn't. I think maybe because she thought, well, we didn't have sex. He was making out with a woman at a party. I can't believe he admitted this, but it had been bothering him his entire life. Bothers me so much. It had bothered him his entire life. So he wanted to get it out. He wanted to talk to me, and I agreed to listen. It was somebody I knew from my past, but his name wasn't Paula. What happened? He was at a party. He was at a party making out with this woman that he had been eyeballing the entire evening. He was so excited. She passed out mid-kiss. He carried her upstairs, and he had a choice. Tuck her into bed or do what he did. His hands were all over and in her body. He stopped himself, which he thought gave him the moral high ground. But all it did was prove that he was a pervert and a freak. Because what kind of person is going to think that, well, I didn't stick my penis inside of this woman. I only used my hands. She could have nailed him to the wall because it's the same thing. But in his head at the time, well, we were making out, she was all into me, so it didn't really matter. Granted, he was in college, but he still did it. So I broke it down and I explained to him that doesn't matter. Lorne told Ramona once that he was going to stick his penis into her mouth if she passed out. And he didn't get that wasn't funny. He thought it was hilarious. So he tried to explain it away. It didn't work. So what point am I making? After a month of grooming, after Kayla saying, Kay, yeah, I'm anxious to touch... Well, she didn't say it. She just said, Kay, when he said, are you anxious to touch my penis? She just responded with Kay. So Lorne, because I told you he studied the chat log, he went back and read it. That gave him permission in his head that if they got there, I don't care if you disagree with me or not, that if they got there and she said no, well, I got all of her responses right here. No means yes, because to Lorne, no would mean yes. So I pose a question. Lorne's at a party, and this girl is completely blackout drunk. She hasn't passed out yet. She kisses Lorne. Then she passes out. I want you to ask yourself, well, besides the fact that part of me says he would be terrified to take his pants off, but the other half of me, it ensures me that he would do what I think he would do. And he would feel justified. And he might even tell her, oh, it was so good last night. I love you so much, baby. Because I told you he would say that to a prostitute / sex worker. I think he would take advantage of that woman, and I think he would have taken advantage of Kayla. I think if Kayla was sleeping, Lorne would have, woken her up in a way that he wanted to, awkwardly fumbling around. She would have said, no, Lorne, I'm trying to sleep. And he'd have been like, come on, baby. Come on. I'm already here. You might as well let me. 13-year-old girl in the presence of that monster who's pressuring her to do what he wants. I think she would have given in. I don't think Lorne would have seen that as rape. He would have seen that as consensual sex between two adults. I also think because Jamie Amy is a porn star and she slept with a lot of men, that Lorne would see that as his right. He would think to himself, well, it's her job and she loves it, and I'm her husband, or boyfriend / husband. So of course I have the right to do that. And even if she fights it, she'll get over it because I'm such a lover. I'll start doing whatever I do. You do whatever you do, I'll do whatever I do. Whatever. He'll start doing whatever he does, and she'll be okay with it. Because I think Lorne might believe that's how sex works. He doesn't know how it's initiated. He thinks the canopy man coming over. He thinks that a massage, it's all going to lead to sex. And I guarantee you, he sees Jamie Amy as a slut. And he told Debbie that sluts walk around with their legs open. I've seen some of those 70s movies where revenge was all the rage for sexual assault. That was like the rage. I Spit on Your Grave and just about 50 other movies. And I think that Lorne might have participated in that. He has no morals, no standards. If Roy said, come on, man, she's loving it, Lorne would jump right in. I don't think he would be the scared little boy in the corner. I don't think he could stop himself because I don't think he understands what sexual assault is. We talked about the time he told Jamie Amy, well, just go around and have people stick their finger in your vagina so you can see whose it was. You can see which finger was the guy who assaulted you while you were naked in the hallway. Winnie was constantly in compromising situations and coked out of her head. She would be unable to fight off his advances, and I think he would use her as a masturbatory sleeve. I do not think he would be able to figure out how to slip it inside, which may be the only saving grace for these women, but I do think if a woman was completely drunk, he would do his best to figure out how to get his broken, bent dick inside of a woman's mouth who's unaware of what's going on. Because again, we have discussed this. Every woman is a masturbatory sleeve who's only on this earth for a man's pleasure. I would imagine at one point when I was a super horn dog, I probably thought, I'm not talking about the way he is, that all women wanted it just as bad as guys. And that may be true for some, but I would have never, ever assumed that a woman who was not in her right mind, who was really, really drunk, I never, ever took advantage of a woman who was stoned or drunk because I knew they weren't able to make a decision. And if I'm going to do something like that, I would prefer that they wake up the next morning and talk about the crazy night we had, not asking me what happened. But it's Lorne. He doesn't know what consensual sex is, and he doesn't understand sexual assault. So in conclusion, Lorne is a danger to every woman. If he was able to go out and drink and at a party, oh, I'll drive her home. I'll get her home safely. We know what that means. We know that woman is not getting home safely. She's going to end up at his trailer and wake up the next day going, what happened? Where am I? Where am I would be a common phrase that Lorne would hear. If you gave Lorne roofies and you told him what they did, I think in some mental gymnastics way, he would think that was okay. He would think that made everything okay, which is why I hate him. And even Debbie on those I Am a Predator calls told him that she hated him for what he did, but he didn't understand the hatred was real. He thought she was referring to the Lorne from back then. Lorne, you haven't changed. In fact, you're more desperate and dangerous now. Go to a class, learn what consensual sex is, and then, maybe then, we can start talking about your redemption and your reform. That's my rant for this Monday morning. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.